14. In the shadowy woods there wasn't anything he could dig a grave with. He started digging with his fingers where he'd been sitting, but after the layer of dead needles and dried leaves scraped off, and the top dusty layer of soil, all he could do was scratch uselessly. He felt around until he found a stick strong enough. He used that to scrape and pry and dig into the soil. With his hands he scooped out the handfuls of soil he loosened that way and piled it by his knees. Then he scraped and pried again. After a long time he had made a shallow grave. He picked up the body of the dog, just a body now, empty, and put her into it. Scraping with his hands, he covered her over with dirt. After the dirt he piled on armloads of leaves, and finally, with the heaviest branches he could find, made a covering. He set the branches side by side in a straight row over the grave. He stood up, cold and stiff, but not tired. That was such a stupid thing to do, a stupid mistake, mine. Bullet made his way down to the water and went north toward the farm. Along the water the sky showed stars and moon overhead. Liza should have taken O.D. with her. Liza knew what it was like, leaving O.D. there like... Bullet splashed up through the cold shallows. It was like lions, the way the old man, and he did it too, devoured things. Like lions attacking and chasing down, teeth and claws in the powerful, relentless bodies, then ripping her apart, ripping the flesh and bones apart, and the blood, guts, everything lying on the ground. Poor O.D. didn't have a chance. Nobody could have stopped him. "Come off it," he said to himself. "What kind of an idea is that?" "It's just an idea," he answered, "but it's my own, and maybe even the first one all my own, so get lost." "Get lost?" scornfully. "How can I get lost? Jerk." Bullet agreed. He turned at the dock to go inland. Over the marsh grasses the sky lightened to silver, and a streak of orangey pink heralded the sunrise. Bullet stopped to watch. He wasn't in any hurry. As the light rose above the line of trees, it flowed like water over the grasses, turning them warm brown, almost gold. They swayed as if the light were a hand passing over them. The distant trees assumed color. Bullet headed up the path. He came through the pines into his mother's vegetable garden. There the brown harrowed earth shone under early sunlight, and the few dark leaves hanging on the tomato plants glowed. A couple of pumpkins were hidden away under broad flat leaves, their vines twisting along the rough earth. Tiny tentacles went out from the vines to hold the soil. He bent down and took a handful of dirt, rubbing it with his fingers against his palm, letting it shower down. You grew things out of this, and his fingers could feel its richness. He looked toward the house and met his mother's eyes. She was sitting on the back steps, still in the clothes she'd worn for dinner, red shoes with heels, blue skirt, the white blouse. He walked toward her. Her hands held a blanket around her shoulders. Her eyes were fixed on his face. She had been waiting for him. "Ma," he said. She didn't answer. Her face stayed expressionless. "What are you doing?" he demanded. "You took your gun," she snapped. He turned, looked where she was looking, over the garden to the marsh. He sat down beside her, so his shoulder almost touched hers. He could feel how she was feeling, and he didn't like feeling that. He didn't like her feeling it either. It made him angry that she should have to. With his shoulder touching hers, he tried to tell her, "I shot O.D." He waited, and she didn't say anything. "It was an accident. Anyway, I waited with her, and then I had to bury her." The two of them sat looking out. He waited for what she would answer. He wouldn't blame her if she let fly at him. "People like us," she finally said. "I don't know, boy. Innocent, weak things come into our hands, and we do such a bad job by them. We destroy them." "It wasn't like that. It was an accident," he told her. She turned her head to face him, her eyes burning. "Don't pretend, boy. Are you pretending to yourself you didn't do it? Because if you are, you're lying to yourself. Are you doing that? Are you going to do that to yourself?" Her anger drove the breath out of him, and he pulled his body back from hers. "But," he started to say, and her mouth moved without saying anything. She wasn't talking to him. He understood that. He understood her anger. "No, I'm not," he promised her. Her head nodded once sharply. What a life for her, he suddenly thought, angry and sad again. Why didn't she get out? Why doesn't she? "You don't know," she said. "No, I don't think I do," he told her. Then a sudden question drove everything else out of his head. "Do you think I should have carried her home? "Do you think a vet could have done anything, Mamma?" She asked him to describe the wound, so he did, his answers as quiet as her questions. He didn't try to explain how it happened, just talked about what O.D. looked like. His mother thought about it, then shook her head. No, bringing her home wouldn't have done any good. Bullet believed her, but he couldn't be sure. "Besides, we'd have had to sail into town to find a vet," his mother said. "And I wouldn't have liked to have buried her in the water," Bullet said. Agreed. They sat in silence. Bullet was cold, he realized. "You should go inside," he said. "I'm tired, I am that." But she didn't give up. "And my feet hurt." "Take off your shoes." "Why didn't you take off your shoes?" "And ruin a pair of perfectly good stockings?" "Take off your stockings, too." "Bare feet are common," she reminded him. "You don't think like that," he told her. Talk about boxes. She didn't answer. He guessed he knew why. "Ma," he said, "you're the stubbornest old woman in the world." A smile moved across her face and was gone. Watching that, Bullet thought, "How long has it been? What a life for her!" And then, loud inside his own head, "I won't let him do this to her." "And what are you going to do?" he asked himself. "What can you do?" "Something." "You're the breaker. You destroy. You've forgotten already?" "No, I haven't." He thought maybe he could tell her about Frank's visit, just about the picture of the kid. But then he recognized that that wouldn't be much joy to her, finding out she had a grandchild, and maybe, too, that she didn't even know where they were, and wouldn't be able to get off the farm to find them even if she wanted to. That would just be adding more boards to the side of her box, making her box squeeze tighter on her. It would be like turning her into prey, sticking his lion's claws and teeth into her. He couldn't get her out of her box any more than he could unshoot the shot that got O.D. There was nothing he could do. Everybody was in the same box, helpless. She was, and he was, and maybe even the old man, although Bullet couldn't see that, but maybe she could, and everybody. What a world. "I don't recall any orders about me cooking for you, do you?" Bullet asked his mother. He stood up. She looked at him. "You used to have a sense of humor," she told him. Her hair, streaked with gray, hung in a braid down her back. Bullet couldn't make any sense out of that remark. He wondered if he'd been wrong about her, overestimated her strength. "A good one," she said thoughtfully. "I still do," Bullet told her, and wondered if she was cracking up, had been cracking, slowly, over the years, while they, him and the old man, lion-like, devoured her. She snorted. "You could fool me." Then Bullet saw what she meant and did smile. "I doubt that. I never could fool you. I've got eggs and some bacon. I fry me a mean egg. We could eat standing up." He wanted to give her something, even just breakfast. She shook her head. No, I can't do that." Anger rose up in Bullet again, and again sad. "Stubborn," he told her. "Stubborn and proud. I don't know, Ma, you're going to get yourself into trouble." That brought another smile to her face, a sudden smile, as suddenly gone. She knew what he was thinking. "You boy," she said. He left her there on the back steps with her face turned to the garden, the marsh, and if she could have seen beyond it, the water.